Welcome back to Super Geeks, where the super become geeks and the geeks become super.
Something like that.
Something like that. Today we're just gonna go right into it, into our topic.
Daddy, Robert Downey Jr.
Iron Man. Iron Man. Because there's nothing you can say now that hasn't already been said prior already in life about him.
Yeah, so like the reason we're getting into this, right, is because with the multiverse opening up and with the recent interview he's done in the past, especially Chris Evans has done this as well. He said he wouldn't mind coming back to that role. So would we see another Iron Man in Marvel?
I don't want to.
But why not?
His ending is same with Chris Evans. His ending was right for him.
Yeah, but like we didn't really get to enjoy the like Playboy Iron Man, you know?
What more would you get out of Iron Man if he came back? Like, let's be real, right?
Mm-hmm.
What else would you get out of him, really? In the state of the way Disney is handling Marvel right now, what more would you pull out of Iron Man, really?
Well, if we got to think about like what we've seen in Iron Man right now so far, right? Like we've seen multiple suits. We've seen him use the Infinity Gauntlet. We've seen him go through the nanotechnology. We've seen him use the Hulkbuster. I feel like Iron Man plays a pivotal role when it comes to like the Galactus fights, when it comes to like Kang the Conqueror, like all the main Avengers do, right? So maybe seeing like a multiversal Iron Man during that fight, but that's it. Like I think that'll be like it. I don't need a main story from him. I just like
But if it's a multiversal Iron Man, are we talking still Robert Downey Jr. or are we looking for a replacement? Because I heard of Tom Cruise being a replacement for him at one point. That was the understanding. So if it was multiverse, it would have been Tom Cruise. That was the biggest thought when
wasn't it like the 90s? Like if they were to make the Avengers in the 90s, that like Tom Cruise would have been Iron Man.
Yeah, but when they also did Multiverse of Madness with Doctor Strange, and they were considering, or at least what was rumored to be considered as Iron Man's return, it was a Tom Cruise version, not a Robert Downey Jr. version.
See that makes me upset because like I feel like Robert Downey Jr. is Tony Stark. Like there's no ifs, ands, or buts around it. I don't think Tom Cruise can portray that character the same way Robert Downey Jr. did.
Yeah, but nobody can portray it the same as somebody else. But I wouldn't. I just think Iron Man, the way they did Iron Man, the way they gave him his send off and everything, was perfect for the character that he is, for the way that he acts and things like that. But I don't think you need to. No, for sure you don't need to return and revisit that character. It's like it doesn't. You're gonna undo everything that was already done for him, right? His whole arc and becoming this like self-centered, arrogant person into sacrificing himself for the greater good, and for everyone else, and then just have him come back and he becomes like that person again. Like then it just kind of destroys him being dead. Really, it just destroys everything, and you're backtracking, and it's just not good.
I don't know if it destroys everything. I feel like that can give a new spin to not a new spin, but it could bring a new spin to like his dynamic with Spider-Man. Specifically, like if we're talking about like some comics. Granted, I would say I don't know a lot about Iron Man comic book wise, but I do know a lot about him cartoon wise, right?
Mm-hmm.
So there's a Spider-Man cartoon where Iron Man does debut, War Machine's in it, and so like that. It's like a '90s cartoon. You might
The Invincible
Iron
Man.
No. Yeah, the Invisible Iron Man, that
Yeah.
cartoon. But like I'm talking about the Spider-Man cartoon that was like all around that timeline. It's called The Spider-Man.
Yeah.
So specifically with that one, right? He was that playboy, but he was like his dynamic with Spider-Man wasn't as a mentor. It was more as like, all right, I can give you guidance when it comes to like your suit, your tech, and stuff like that. But like, I'm not here to tell you how to be a hero because Spider-Man in that universe was the pinnacle of what a hero should be.
Right.
So I feel like that's that would be what I want to see, right? Because I feel like Tom Holland's Spider-Man specifically, right, has been really reliant on Tony, and we've seen that break down between all his movies. We've seen it break down between his interactions with the Avengers themselves.
Yeah.
So that's kind of where I would hope it would go. Like, I don't need a baby Spider-Man. I don't need a kid that's like, and I know the next Spider-Man movie will take him out of the comfort zone, right? Like, it has to at this point. But like, I don't need a Spider-Man that's doubting himself at that level. I need the friendly neighborhood Spider-Man who's like kicking ass, taking names, and like he's dealing with the shit that like a young adult has to deal with.
Yeah, of course, and that's what I would want too. I'm I'm done seeing Iron Man in Spider-Man's story. I want to see an independent Spider-Man. I want to see him do his own thing. The only Iron Man that I would accept, the only Iron Man that I would accept in the MCU if they were to bring him back, is Iron Man. When it's his hologram, like his hologram face in the Iron Man suit, that I would accept. But him coming back in the flesh, being Tony Stark Iron Man again, that's just you just gotta let that one go. You just have to let it go. Like you cannot bring that person back in the flesh because it undoes everything that led up to Infinity War and who he became, and like that's what I felt like happened with Thor when he went into Thor Ragnarok.
Hmm.
How he was like very Viking, very like straight up, very, like no nonsense type of Thor. And then when you see him in Ragnarok, he kind of is just joking all the time. And he was taken as a joke, honestly, in that movie. So it undid that persona of him in the Endgame movie. And it's like, don't undo that. Same thing with Captain America. Don't undo Captain America's walk either. If you go, I mean, they already have so many characters that are already putting on an Iron Man like suit. Like,
Yeah, so like with the Iron, because they already know Iron Wars will happen, right?
yeah.
That's a movie that's gonna come out. But like, how are you gonna do Iron Wars without the main person in Iron Wars? Like, how does that make sense?
Well, that's why you take in War Machine. War Machine is supposed to be the lead for that.
Yeah, but he got taken out by the fucking scroll, dog. Like,
that whole story is just jacked. That
no, that's like crack. That ending was just like, what the actual fuck is going on here?
I didn't like it. It was just not for me.
I think, okay,
Look,
this is definitely on topic, but
in
like,
Iron Wars, if they do that, because that thing has been like, yeah, we'll do it, but maybe we won't do it. Like it's been back and forth with it. If they do Iron Wars, I would say, if you want to bring back Tony Stark, use the hologram.
but what if they did like what is it called? Like memories, you know?
They could do
Like
memory, like
playbacks and stuff.
flashbacks.
Yeah, that's
Yeah,
what
that's
flashbacks.
fine. Flashbacks are fine. That's fine. Like whatever, they're flashbacks. But not like, oh, he's here in the flesh. He actually survived. He didn't actually die during the snap. No, don't do that.
No. I don't think they'll unwrite his death. But I think like I think there's different routes they can go with this, right? So I think they could definitely play flashbacks, right? Of like Tony and like Rhodey, that's the name, right? War Machine's real name.
Yeah,
Rhodey.
yeah.
Tony and Rhodey, like, because there's a lot of their relationship that we don't really see, even though they're really close. Like, how did Rhodey get so comfortable with his suit? How did he decide to upgrade? How did he learn to work the suit and stuff like that? So I feel like Tony stepping into that role, like in those flashbacks, showing him this, and then Rhodey showing what's Ironheart's real name? What's her fuck? Comic book geeks, help me out. What the fuck? Um, but yeah, having War Machine kind of mentor Ironheart in that aspect, I feel like that would be way more crucial for her character development, especially as the new mechanical genius that's going to be stepping foot in Marvel. Um, and like I think this new wave of Avengers, right? Especially like this new Iron Man, it's gonna take everyone for a loop because like you got this new Captain America, you got new Iron Man. Thor, I guess, has a daughter now that's wielding fucking Stormbreaker.
Yeah.
Which hashtag reference to new Avengers comics and cartoon. Um, a Black Panther's son is now in existence. You know, but like that's the thing. I don't like how they went about having Black Panther's son.
There's not much you can do.
Like no disrespect. Like I definitely love the sentiment to Chadwick Boseman. Like I loved his Black Panther. I think he did the best portrayal. I think where they were going with the movie was amazing, right? I think Namor, great person to have. I love the Hispanic like showing of it, but I wanted Storm to be the mom.
Storm wasn't even introduced.
I know, that's why I'm mad.
Storm wasn't even part of the story yet.
What if they use the same actor that they use for his love interest as Storm in the multiverse?
I don't know. I don't know about all that.
I'm
But
saying.
we're off topic. Back to Iron Man. Yeah, I would say if you're choosing to bring him in, honestly, as a character to assist, then he would have to be the hologram of himself.
Which like a Jarvis type of thing?
Not Jarvis, but like in the comics, like he's literally a hologram inside an Iron Man suit. Like, I'm fine with that. Yeah, pretty much like he'd become the Jarvis.
Like the Jarvis.
Yeah, he'd become like the Jarvis to Rhodey, but also I don't think anybody really wants to see that either. So I think let Iron Man be who he was and let him stay where he is. Um, they did the best that they could with him, honestly, because if you look back at how the movies were progressing, they dropped the ball on the third one for sure.
The third one was where like he had all his suits destroy the guy that's like his body was exploding or whatever, right?
Yeah, and it was supposed to be revolved around the Mandarin, and then it was just like a cheap cop out for some reason.
They definitely, I do think they dropped the ball there, but I do like how they introduced Rescue, Peppa Potts.
Yeah.
I think,
but she doesn't get into it until
Endgame.
Yeah, which was a pretty dope thing.
Yeah. So how do you think they're gonna like? Because imagine Iron Wars is like a time gap, right? So imagine it's more like in the future because his daughter does pick up the rescue title.
Yeah.
So like, how do you think that they'll portray like?
If they're doing Iron Wars, which I don't know if it was supposed to be a movie or supposed to be,
I think it's a movie.
It's a movie. I would say their whole dynamic would be between Rhodey and Morgan.
Oh, the daughter. Yeah.
The daughter. Yeah, I don't know how Ironheart really fits into this whole thing. Honestly,
well, she's kind of confirmed to be with the movie already.
If she's in the movie, then that's cool. But
I think Rhodey is gonna like, all right.
Well, yeah, actually, yeah.
Rhodey will seek Ironheart out, right? Because like she's the new technological genius. She's the only person outside of Iron who has created an iron suit like that works at that capability. You know, so like Rhodey can't even do that. He's just a pilot for it.
Yeah.
So I think that like he's still as we've seen with Secret Wars, he still works with the government very highly. Like he's still in the military and stuff. I think the government's gonna send him to find her. Mm-hmm. And a chance to recruit, and she's gonna say, "I don't want to. Fuck you." Right? Yeah. And he's just gonna remember all the conversations he had with Tony. Mm-hmm. And it's gonna show him with Pepper and with Morgan, kind of like talking and seeing how they can relate. And Pepper's gonna be like, "Don't you remember that's how Tony used to be?" Yeah. And then
I can see that. I can see if Ironheart's already confirmed to be there. I can see her connecting with Rhodey in like some way of aspect of fixing the suit, understanding the suit a little better, and making upgrades to the suit. Since, yeah, like you said, she's the only one aside from Tony Stark who has actually created a suit from scratch, pretty much. So I can see that happening. But overall, with Iron Man specifically, let him rest in peace. Like, let him stay there. If you bring him back, I could see people really wanting to see him come back in the if Kang War is still happening or the Secret War or whatever the hell is happening because it's very unclear. But I can see people wanting that. I just would say it's gonna ruin the dynamic if he comes back and then stays back.
So, no. It's not saying stay back. So how about like let me give you a scenario, right? There's a cartoon right that came out. It's called The New Avengers, right?
Mhm.
Or The Young Avengers. I don't know if you've seen it.
The movie?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Where like Tony is the only surviving Avenger besides Hulk,
Yeah.
and he's like raising their kids, right? Imagine like in this war with Kang, right? They're going through multiple dimensions, and we end there. Like we get to see that dimension, and we get to see an older Iron Man in the suit raising like all the kids and stuff like that, and we see an older Hulk and stuff like that. Like how do you think that would affect the Avengers who got to interact with Tony, and like specifically how would that affect Spider Man?
I just think Tony at this point just becomes like a legend that they speak of, like the great invincible Iron Man from the past, the one who sacrificed himself for us. With bringing in the Young Avengers, like they were building, Iron Man is just a legend, just like Captain America is like the legend. Like these are the pillars of what became the Avengers. Leave it that way. I think that's the best way to do it. That they, when you speak of them, you speak of their stories and who they became and who they are. Leave them as like legends for the children to look up to. Don't make it like, oh, he's back. Like,
No, that's what I'm saying. Like we wouldn't get a he's back. We could like I know you didn't really watch the full Arrowverse, right? But like they had like old people come back, right? They had two of the people who played Superman in the past. What their names? The guy who played Superman from Smallville.
Yeah.
They had his portrayal of Superman in there. They went to his dimension. They met him. So we got to see where that story ended and some of that. We got to see what's the dude he plays Spider Superman in Superman Returns. And he played the Atom.
It's not Ben Roth.
No,
I forget his name.
But like they had him,
I know, yeah.
They had him in the like the Superman who's felt the most pain, whatever that suit is. I forgot what that suit. It has the black.
Yeah, the Kingdom Come.
Kingdom Come Superman. There. So they had him as Kingdom Come Superman. Then they had their universe of Superman, right?
Yeah.
They had three people who played Superman. In that show alone, still reprising the Superman role, the Clark Kent role, but they were like showing different dynamics of how it was going, you know. Yeah. And then they had Kevin Conroy playing the older demented Batman, as we talked about, like in the past, right?
Yeah.
So like they brought back these people to reprise like their roles and stuff like that. So I feel like if we seen that like in Kang in that movie, right? Like they were going to multiple dimensions, whatever. They're fighting Kang. They're getting ass kicked in multiple dimensions.
Yeah.
And then you see an older Hulk just coming like that old school Hulk that like Banner does not have control. Like he just comes out fucking up Kang.
Yeah.
Because he wants his piece, and then you see them fighting like Ultron in the background. And you see like Iron Man flying up, and you see him turn his head, and he looks, and you just see that older face. I feel like Peter's gonna be like, we can save him.
Yeah.
He's alive, he's here, and then I feel like Doctor Strange is gonna be like, that's not the Tony you knew. And then they're gonna look, and they're gonna see like the James Rogers. They're gonna see Thor's daughter. They're gonna see T'Challa's son.
Yeah.
Hank Pym's son, right? And they're gonna see them all fighting, and that's gonna just be a reference to like that movie that came out like what 2010, 2012?
I think so.
Something like that. Like it came out back then, right? So it'll be a reference to what Marvel has done comic book wise and like animated wise.
Yeah, I mean that makes sense. But yeah, I mean I could see that happening. I could see that going in that direction. But for now, currently, for any movies coming out close to Iron Man, I think those you just gotta let them be the way they are. It is what it is, you know.
Yeah, the night will forever live in my heart.
Yeah, for sure.